Okay, so good evening, everybody. If you could go ahead and mute your mics for me, we're going to go ahead and record this meeting. Typically, Wednesday evenings are reserved for our senior leadership meeting for planning and going over different initiatives that we're engaged in. Tonight, like the last couple of Wednesday evening meetings, what we've done is we've invited everybody. Um, at the moment, we have six participants. Another one is coming on shortly, and then of course my wife Terry is here. So that's a total of eight people that had made this meeting. I made it aware on the main page that this meeting will be open to everyone in the organization, so they can come on, find out exactly what's going on with the organization, and have a better idea of how maybe they fit within the organization. Um, Again, um, just to introduce myself for those of you who may be new members to Ian, my name is Will Everidge. I'm the National Administrator and founder of Ian. And I'm glad that those who made it were able to make it. Um, I'm very happy that we've been able to make some of the strides that we have lately, but I'll go over those kind of in a little bit. So if you're not new, you've probably noticed that we've gone through some pretty major changes in the last 30 days. We've acquired a new home here on Microsoft. We've left Facebook. In the process of leaving and other reasons, we've lost several members. We've temporarily lost our Ian Outpost, which, for those who aren't aware, that's our online store. So we actually lost that. Now, good news is we have regained control of that. So very happy. We'll try to have that Ian Outpost, which is our online store. We'll probably have that up and running. Well, we'll try to have it up and running as soon as possible. Okay. Um, Also, Jason and his team are redeveloping ianprep.org, which is our website, to reflect our new professional um, uh, appearance. Okay, so our new way of doing things. So there's going to be a lot of changes here with regards to how we operate and the way that we do things. And one of the things, like for instance, the meeting. Um, it I had people that said, hey, I'd like to make the meeting, but I'm, like James Hart. He contacted me before the meeting and said, hey, I can't make it, and he had a really good reason for not being able to make it. However, I haven't heard from anyone else, and evidently no one has notified any of you that they weren't going to be able to make it. That tells me that Ian isn't really that big of a priority in their life. Okay, and I understand that people have jobs and school and they do other things, but honestly, what really needs to happen is Ian needs to be more of a priority in your life. And I don't mean to take away from family time or work or anything else, but honestly, we have a really important mission, and if you believe in that mission, then you're going to make time to make meetings and do other things. So that that's one of the things that's going to have to change. And I'm perfectly okay if our group shrinks to just a few, those people that are dedicated and want to make a difference. Because within that group, we can build a much stronger foundation, and that's really what we want to do. So moving forward, we're going to be making some changes. And I don't want to be the person that says, hey, you must do this. So I'm not going to. I'm going to let people decide whether or not they want to remain a member by virtue of their actions. So if they want to be involved in Ian, they'll show it. They'll show up to meetings. They'll get involved, and we'll be better for that. Honestly, I don't want people to be a member of Ian if they honestly don't want to be. People are here hopefully so they can learn and be educated and be prepared to manage emergencies. Um, Hopefully you're here because you bought into the idea that the lone wolf idea is a really bad one and it doesn't work. You need other people to help. And so if that's you, then we want you to be here. If that's not you, then maybe Ian's not the best fit for you. But what I don't want is have 70, 80, 90, 500 members and have 20 people that are really passionate about what we're all about. That's not what Ian is about. So much smaller numbers, that's okay because I'm about to explain a program that's going to kind of help us work through all of that. But I'll touch on that in a minute. Um, let's see. I guess really what I'm trying to say is I really want to thank those people that made the meeting tonight, and I want to thank those members that are always helping out, helping other members, getting involved, and really being a good example of what an Ian member is supposed to be. And I want to let you know that to me, loyalty is so very, very important because when it hits the fan, folks, really loyalty is what's going to kind of separate us from everybody else. Because when it hits the fan and lives are on the line and it really matters, those people that are loyal, that are bought in, that have a close connection with one another, those are the groups and the organizations that are going to come together and they're going to be able to work through whatever the disaster emergency is that's causing a problem. So loyalty, cohesive unit, regardless of the size, is much more important than a large organization that'll be scattered to the wind because their foundation is really not based on anything um, worth anything. Okay, and I'll kind of leave it at that. Um, Ian has a new look. We have a new identity, and we kind of touched on this a little bit last week. To say that we're a prepping group would be significantly understating who we are as an organization. When someone says, "Hey, are you a prepping group?" You say, "No, no, no, I'm a Nemo." No, the Independent American Network. We're not a prepping group. We're a nonprofit emergency management organization. And we have certain things that we do that normal prepping groups probably don't do. We have three primary directives, and I want to make sure that everybody understands this. Our first directive is to educate and train our members to manage emergencies. Everybody needs to know CPR. Everybody needs to know first aid. Everybody needs to know how to use a ham radio because even if we had CERT teams in every city, in every county, in every state in the country, if your house gets swept away by a landslide or whatever, or there's a forest fire, whatever the natural disaster is, you need to be able to take care of yourself until help arrives, whether that be from us or the Red Cross or FEMA or whoever it is. We need to lay the foundation. The foundation needs to be independence. That's where the independent American network comes from. You have to know how to take care of yourself long enough. You have to be responsible and accountable. You have to take it upon yourself to be self-sufficient long enough for us or someone else to get to you and your family. Okay? To say, well, here's $10 and come and get me when things get bad. That's not what we're about. First, we educate you, we train you. That's why it's so vitally important that those people that are members get involved. There's no way for you to learn if you're not involved. How can you possibly be prepared if you're never taking the opportunity to learn from each other, to take advantage of James Hart and his team, to take advantage of Jeff Beber and his communications team? We've got a lot of very good people that can train you and teach you and help you be prepared to manage emergencies. But if you don't take it upon yourself to reach out and take the hand that's been extended to you, then you're putting yourself and your family in jeopardy. And honestly, you have to ask yourself, why am I a member of this nonprofit emergency management organization that helps people get prepared if you're not willing to do it yourself? You have to do that. Okay, so the number one thing is get prepared, get educated, get trained. It's here. Take advantage of it. Secondly, our charter or one of our directives is to provide support to homeless veterans. These people at some point in their life said, you know what? I'm going to take my life and I'm going to give it to my country. And in my country, you do whatever it is that you feel that you need to do to protect the people of this country, and up and including putting me in harm's way. I'm going to take my life, I'm going to put it in the hands of the people, of the government. This is yours, up and including taking my life in defense of the country. At some point in their lives, these people made a conscious decision to do that, to serve, to give up part of their life. Because honestly, I don't know if everyone's aware of this, but once you join the military, you're no longer free. You no longer have the same constitutionally protected rights as a normal American citizen. You give that up. You get deployed downrange. Many of our soldiers, sailors, Marine, Airmen, Coast Guard, they come back and they have problems. We put them in a situation to where they're no longer going to be the same person that entered service. And now they're going to come back to this country and now they're on the street. I don't know if anyone's aware of this, but approximately 52% of all homeless people that are living on the street, they have no place to rest their head. They're American veterans. They served you. They served me. It's time for the Independent American Network to serve them through the Veterans Guard. That's something that I know several of us are very passionate about, and that's part of who we are. Last but not least is providing emergency support when your own education and training is not enough. I mentioned earlier storm surge or landslide or tornado, hurricane. When your abilities and your education and training is not enough, that's where we supplement through emergency services such as evacuation, providing emergency supplies, search and rescue, things of that nature. So when you combine all of these three, yes, we look at not just the member in an emergency situation, but what about the veterans and our own members? There's been several times when we've had members who've been really, really down on their luck, and we provided food, transportation, money. We've really done, folks. We've done a lot of good for a lot of people, and I'm really looking forward to doing a lot more of that. And one of the ways that we're going to be able to accomplish that goal is by kind of changing our identity. And what I mean is, to achieve our mission, we're going to have to make some changes. And last week, if you recall, I set some goals for us to kind of help us get on that track. One of the things was one of the goals was get a handle on our websites. We've done that. The Ian Outpost is back under our control. IanPrep.org is getting a facelift. In fact, if you have internet access and you can and you want to go check that out, go check it out right now while we're on the call. IanPrep.org. We've got a facelift. We've got a new logo, and the logo, I'll kind of touch on that in a minute. But in addition to getting our IT act together, we needed to fill some critical vacant leadership positions, and we'll touch on that in a second. Restore recruiting. When recruiting goes back in the swing, it's not going to be the same recruiting that you folks are accustomed to. There's going to be some major changes, and I'll touch on that not this week but next week, because there's some things that I want to share with you. The next thing is the Virtual Training Academy, making sure that it's fully operational. We're not there yet, but we're getting close. Our Crisis Information Center, fully operational. We have internet, we have phone, we have some emergency management software that will help us. We have our hotline. And those that aren't familiar with the hotline, if you find yourself in an emergency situation, this is the telephone number that you dial. The telephone number is 1-513-400-3393. Please put that in your cell phones. If you find yourself in an emergency situation, okay, the very first thing you should do is dial 911. They'll be able to get there quicker than us. If it's a large-scale emergency, obviously they're going to have their hands tied up. That's where our emergency response services come into play. Okay, so make sure you have that information, that telephone number in your cell phones, 513-400-3393. So please put that in your cell phones. And if you find yourself in an emergency, utilize that phone, okay? Um, Another thing that I wanted to touch on is the new member onboarding program. The new onboarding program before, when we were on Facebook, and Facebook was very, very simple. People liked the simplicity of Facebook, and so did I. But it wasn't suitable to run an organization like ours. And, back then, they'll answer 22 questions, have a brief interview, and then bam, they're dropped off on our main page and left to their own devices. That can't work here. Okay, our new home is very, very sophisticated. It has a lot of bells and whistles, has a lot of tools for organization, communication, things of that nature. So, in addition to the recruiting, the recruiters are going to be, once they vet and um, go through that process we'll talk about later, they're going to be handing the new members off to an onboarding coordinator who's going to spend the next week walking through the different systems and functionality of our new home so they know where to go to get training. They know who to talk to or ask if they have a particular question. They'll get introduced to their regional director or state director. They'll be ready to go. It'll be a kind of like an introduction training program for new members. So they're going to be very, very well acquainted with everything that we have to offer, and that will make them a more productive, interactive member of Ian. Okay. Something else that we're working on is the new welcome video. The great thing about the new welcome video is the outline for the new welcome video is I've already got that set out. I just have to actually do it now. In addition, it's going to be much, much, much shorter than the other one. So hopefully that will bode well for us. As you might have noticed, if you went and checked out ianprep.org, the welcome video is no longer on there. Okay. The other one was too old. It was misleading in a couple respects, and it didn't really reflect who we were as an organization. The new welcome video will do just that. I also wanted to make sure that everybody made themselves at home, and they kind of got accustomed to looking around to kind of see what our new home was all about. Okay. Those were some of the real basic goals that I wanted to set for us. In addition to that, I wanted to let everybody know that we're going to be having a crisis management team meeting Sunday at the headquarters at 6 p.m. Eastern. Okay. I know I do have to work, but fortunately I'll be getting off at 5 o'clock Eastern, so that'll give me an hour to get there. At any rate, so Sunday, that's this Sunday, 6 p.m. Eastern at our headquarters. If you're in the Cincinnati area and you'd like to make this meeting, if you're interested in being a member of the CERT team or the Med team, come there. You'll get to meet your new crisis management coordinator. She's an amazing person. We'll be talking about that in just a second. But getting the crisis management team and the crisis management department is very, very vital to our success. We really got to get those back up and running. So, in the spirit of doing all of that, what I'd like to do is I'm very pleased to announce that effective immediately, the new crisis management team leader is Marty Parker. I want to say that again. Marty Parker is our new crisis management team leader. And she'll be managing the CERT team and the Med team and making sure that they're up and running. So when a crisis occurs, they'll be properly trained and ready to respond to help out our members. Okay. So congratulations, Marty. We're very happy to have you. We're very fortunate to have somebody with your credentials and experience to kind of help us out. I'd also like to announce that effective immediately, the new crisis management department head is Michael Berger. Congratulations, sir. You've got some very big shoes to fill, and I'm sure you'll do a fine job. I've been very, very pleased with your work ethic and your ability to get things done lately. You've done a real good job. I'm very proud of you, sir. Also, that means that Michael is leaving a vacancy. I would like to announce that effective immediately, assuming that she would like to that you would oh boy, I'm getting a call in from Marty, so she's trying to get in. So let me try to bring Marty in. But what I was saying is Michael is going to be taking on a very, very significant role, but he's also vacating a very significant role. The Master State Director is huge. So let me try to get. So what I'd like to do is offer the position of Master State Director to Catherine, your wife, if if she would be willing to accept it.
She
So
is.
okay, she is. Well, fantastic. Well, then I'm very happy to announce that effective immediately, Catherine Berger, you are now officially the new Master State Director. Congratulations, young lady. Um, and I'm guessing she's
She
there.
says thank you. Yeah, she's right beside me.
Good, fantastic. Well, Catherine, thank you so much for stepping up because, we really needed you. Um, you stepped up. You've helped Michael out. You helped the entire organization out, and I really appreciate that. Um, so we've kind of gone through a lot of stuff.
Hello.
Hi, Marty. Welcome to the conversation. The conversation is being recorded. If you could do me a favor,
Okay.
if you could go ahead and mute your mic for me.
If I
Okay.
can do what?
If you could go ahead and mute your mic.
Let me see. I'm not sure if I know how to do that, but I'll try.
Okay. Well, while you're working on that, let me go back and recap what we were just talking about. This Sunday, we're having a crisis management team meeting. That's Sunday, 6 p.m. Eastern Time at our national headquarters. And so if you're interested in being a member of the CERT team or the Med team, um, and I'll post the address on the main page. But if you're interested in being a member of the CERT team or Med team on the crisis management team, and you're in the Cincinnati area, you're more than welcome to come out and meet everybody. Also, we're going to be taking some photos for our new website at ianprep.org, just to kind of showcase some of our members. So if you're interested in any of that or being in the new welcome member video, please feel free to show up. Now that that's handled, let me go back over something. Um, and I've already touched on Marty. Congratulations on being our new crisis management coordinator, managing the crisis management team. We're very, very happy to have you. And then something else that you missed, Marty. Michael Berger is going to be taking over the department head for the crisis management department. And then, of course, his wife will be stepping in as the master state director. So now that we've kind of got all that good news out of the way, let's talk about some other things that are going on. We've got a new logo, and Jason and I, and for those that don't know Jason, he's our information technology department head. We developed a new logo, and what we did is we wanted to go with a simpler, professional, streamlined look, and we kind of modeled it off some of the larger, more successful American corporations or organizations like Ford, Red Cross, Dell. And if you go to the ianprep.org website, you can kind of take a look at our new logo and our new website. Of course, that's under construction. It's not done yet, but Jason's made a lot of progress on that. Um, so, well, I did want to strike home the point that if someone refers to Ian as a prepping group, please correct them and let them know that prepping is one of the aspects of our organization, but we're not. We're a NEMO, and if somebody asks about the NEMO, just let them know that we're a nonprofit emergency management organization, and you can let them know exactly what we do. Now, with regards to the branding change, there were a lot of a lot of reasons for that change. Uh, One, we're no longer a Facebook group, that operates like the Wild West. No longer do we allow anyone in our organization just by answering a couple questions. Moving forward, candidates who want to join our organization will have to do more than just answer a few questions. We'll be rolling out some new standards, and we'll be able to update everyone as those become available. Now, this will slow down, future growth, but that's okay. It's going to be worth it. It's going to make us It's going to make us all a lot better. It's going to set a new standard for all of us because honestly, just to reiterate what I said earlier, I'd rather have a small group of dedicated people than a large group of people that aren't. Because at the end of the day, I need to know who I can count on and who I can't. And honestly, so do you. So to kind of help us get back up and running at our full potential, we'll be leveraging a new program called Viper. The Viper program, um, it's a program that'll recruit volunteers, interns, hiring new employees, retirees, and kind of help supplement our regular members. I honestly think it's unreasonable to believe that we can meet our goals by excluding those people who would not necessarily be a good Ian member, but nonetheless would be a wonderful asset to the organization. For instance, just because an attorney doesn't want to learn how to build a fire, we shouldn't exclude that attorney from keeping our house from burning down due to a lawsuit. Okay, hopefully that makes sense. The Viper program will allow us to um, get out and recruit individuals that are going to, meet certain requirements. And we'll go over that later too. I'd also like to briefly touch base on the onboarding process. You know, we've got to do a better job of recruiting, we've got to do a better job of vetting, and we've got to do a better job of getting our new members acclimated to the way that we do things here at Ian. And that's going to be a huge focus moving forward. And if you want to be a part of that, we need good people to help out. But the Viper program will help kind of supplement that. To find an attorney who also wants to be part of this type of organization, it's kind of hard to find. We got very, very, very fortunate with finding, the members that we have now. People like, Kim Conklin. Kim, you've done an amazing job. I'm so thankful that you're here. You've been my rock through a lot of tough times lately, and I want to thank you for that. Um, but the Viper program, along with making sure that we get the right members in place, will really go a long way with helping us achieve our goals. And that's really, at the end of the day, what we really need to do. Okay. Last but certainly not least, I want to touch on the Virtual Training Academy and our grant acquisition team. Okay. Both are moving along just fine. I also want to let people know that I'm taking the Virtual Training Academy and I'm giving the full authority to manage that Virtual Training Academy to the National Training Team and James Hart. So moving forward, James Hart will be the authority on the Virtual Training Academy. It's his baby. I think that it's suitable for him to manage that program, given his experience, talent, and his position within Ian. In addition to that, our grant acquisition team. I know a lot of you uh, were aware that we lost Frank to help out to get everything kickstarted with our grant acquisition team. That was a shot. That was a tough loss for us. But I wanted to let you know that um, we didn't just pack up and call it a day. We're not quitters. We don't quit. We don't lie down. We don't give up when things get tough. People leave. We have terrible things happen to websites. A lot of things, a lot of adversity. But we don't give up. We don't quit. I'd like to, let people know that Mark Berline has really kind of stepped up and is leading the fight to get that grant acquisition team up and running again. And Mark, I don't know if you'd like to kind of share some of that information about that, kind of what you're doing.
Yeah, Will. Basically, what I've started is a quest, if you will, to gain the education necessary to actually go out and actively seek grants and such for Ian. Uh, it, that will involve a 6-week course at the University of Cincinnati online, as well as a couple of books I've already purchased to just get my feet wet. Frankly, I've never done anything like that before. I'm learning a ton just in the last 2 days. I've attended one webinar today, matter of fact, to try to get the basics down. And I'm going to put the word out as soon as I can get a handle on what is all involved with it, and move forward. And looking forward to anybody that you know that wants to dabble in this, to get their feet wet. I'll take all the help I can get, because I could certainly. It is a big task, as I'm starting to find out, but I'm happy to do it.
That's awesome. Thanks, Mark. And I want people to understand that it's not when you consider, you know, when I worked for Panasonic, I worked with the grant writers all the time, especially in the federal sector and public sector. There's more grant money out there than you can shake a stick at, but it's not as simple as, well, let's just write up a proposal, we'll submit it, and because what we do meets the requirements of that money, we're automatically going to get it. It doesn't work like that. Our organization as a whole has got to have its act together. We've got to have a business plan. We've got to do things a certain way. There's certain goals that we have to meet. There's certain things that organizations or the government who gives away these grants look for in a company. We're shaping our organization to meet those requirements. So those financial assets will end up in our bank account. So we can take our crisis management department and we can fund those projects. Our sales and marketing department, we can fund those projects. Because honestly, cots and bandages and uniforms and everything else that makes the crisis management department work and function properly takes money. It takes a lot of money. So it's vital that we have those resources. And one of the most effective ways to getting access to those funds is through the grant writing process. But our organization has to match up with what the grants are looking for, the people that are giving the grants are looking for. So the changes that we're making for a reason. It's not just because, hey, Will thinks that we should have a new cool logo and it should be this. That's not it. Everything that we do is calculated. Everything that we do has a purpose. The changes in the manner in which we're moving forward, there's a reason behind it, and I want you to understand that. So when I say that, hey, we need a new position, there's a reason for that. Hey, we need to do something a different way. We need to change up the protocols. There's a reason for that. It's not always because the grant acquisition department needs us to do it, but because it makes good sense, it's practical, and it's going to benefit us and help us achieve our goal. Okay, so our missions, our goals, they're important. We've got a mission, and it's to get ready. The education and the training and the helping the veterans and getting the support structures in place. All of that's vital to our goal. And if we don't start and do it the right way, we'll never get it done. Okay. Gang, that's all I have. I want to go ahead and open the floor up. Does anybody have any questions, concerns, comments about anything regarding Ian? The floor is open.
So this is Marty. I don't know who all's on the call, and I apologize for joining late because I got the message kind of late. And I just want to introduce myself to those who are here in the call. So I'm going to be doing crisis management for Ian. And I think, getting to meet with Will and Mark the other day, I think the objectives for me is to find out, like you, I want quality people, not necessarily quantity, if the quantity is not going to be people who are willing to be loyal and stay true through good and bad. It's like a bad marriage. If we have to communicate, and we're not always going to agree on how everything needs to be done, but we have to work together at the end of the day. Crisis management is a huge portion of what I personally represent, because it's what I have an expertise in, but it's also medically minded. It's also, how do we get help to people who need it in the time that if we are in a bad weather situation or whatever the crisis is. It doesn't matter if it's a complete financial meltdown or whatever we want to prepare for. Crisis management and Ian are going to go hand in hand. And anybody who is with me, under me, beside me during this, I'm going to be putting out information that I need input from every single member, and I want to find out who do we have, who do we not have. You'd alluded to, and you'd mentioned something, Will, about a lawyer might not want to learn to build a fire, but he could be a really good resource to us when it comes to legal advice. Well, I'm not a lawyer, so I can't help you with legal advice, but I can build a pretty mean fire, and I can save your amputated leg. So we all have our strengths. So every single person in the company, I don't know if my mom is on this call, Linda, or not. I know she knew about it, but she's an older person who has a bum knee. She's not going to be able to go in and be on a certain team and get people out of a situation, but she can resource by taking calls. So every one of us have a very valuable place in the organization, and the people who've left, maybe some of those will come back, maybe they won't, maybe we want them to, and maybe we don't. The people who are here and interested, there's a definite need for what we're trying to accomplish, and it's a matter of pulling together the resources, putting the time forth and the energy and the effort to get the resources we need to become better prepared, maybe as a small group to start, get it really up and going, and then get the members what they need, and we need to know what those needs are. So that's my primary focus. I do want to touch base on one thing that I'm personally working on right now is, as a company, we have to have validity. So when you go out to, say, a hurricane scene or a tornado scene or somebody's house caught fire, there's going to be government agencies that are going to block us from getting to the people who our members. We might not be able to physically get to them. So if I can establish us from a crisis management perspective that our badge means something to the people we show up to, that is a huge primary goal for me, because it means nothing to show up on a scene and say, hey, we're here, and for them to go, so what? Get away. You're not welcome into the area. Red Cross is a great place, and that's where I'm starting with some places like the Red Cross. They've got validity as a company, and we need that same validity. When people hear who we are, they go, oh, that's them. That's the name recognition we need. And so for crisis management, if there's a crisis, we need to be Ian's here. That's a good thing. And so that's a huge part of whoever's on or under crisis management falls under this section. That is our primary function. We have to be a valid group of people who show up with the skills and the training and the knowledge and the backing to say and do what we're going to do and live up to it. If we can't do that, then we're missing the boat altogether. So I will end with saying, I definitely think we've got some lofty things that we need to get out there. I think there's a lot. It's going to take a lot of hard work and a lot of dedication. I think in the end, Ian can become a profitable business from a business perspective. It can also become a viable resource to get information to people who need information, who would never need us for anything but the information and or supplies that they're trying to get for themselves to take care of themselves. There's all kinds of avenues for this, but crisis management is about, for me personally, how do we get the information to the people who need it? How do we get the help to them when they have to have it? So that's where I'm starting. That's my focus. I do work odd hours. For those of you who don't know anything about me, I'm a nurse and run a level 1 trauma center. So my hours are weird, and if I take a day or two to get back to you, just know right now I am working a boatload of hours that I don't normally do. So give me about a month and I'll actually have a normal schedule and I'll be able to do a whole lot more. But I do try to respond to everybody's messages, and I will get back to you if I haven't. So I don't know if my cell phone, I didn't see my cell phone listed well on the webpage, and I'm going to have to get that out there, because I don't care if people call me. Just know that if it's before 3, if you're not bleeding or cut or hurt, I might not answer until after 3 in the afternoon. So.
Okay. Hey, Marty, thanks so much for sharing your insight. Look forward to seeing you on Sunday, as well as Mark, and hopefully David and some of the other senior leaders can make it to the office. That'll be this Sunday, 6 p.m. Eastern. I'll go ahead and I'll post the actual address to the headquarters on the main page later on. Before we call it a night, does anyone else have any? Okay. So, does anybody else have any other questions or concerns before we wrap it up?
I think you covered pretty much everything, Will, and Marty. I think you covered a lot of it too. I think a lot of us would like to see that as the way things are. That when we roll up on a site and you see FEMA, Red Cross, whatever there, they look and see us roll up and they go, "Hey, we got something y'all can do." I agree. I want us to be a name out there that when people see one of our guys walking down the street with an Ian Cert jacket or whatever on, that they go, "Hey, that respect." And it's just going to take time. And we've got a good core group here, and we just got to
Well,
make a push.
I think the thing to add to that is not even just so respect is earned. How do you earn it? You do something to prove that you're capable of it. So, I've heard it called the Civil War. I literally joined Ian right when I guess the whole lot of little things went down. And you know what? I'm kind of glad because I don't like drama. So it sounds like the drama's over and now we got the people who want to do something. So I'm about let's do something. And I know how to manage people. But you don't have to manage people. People manage themselves. If you know how you do your job, I don't have to tell you how to do your job because you know how to do it. But I know how to motivate. I'm really good at what I do, and I'm very smart. And if I can't do it myself, I find somebody who can, and I resource them and say, hey, this is your role. Let's do it. But I want to be the person who shows up. I am the person at my hospital. If you're coding, I'm the girl you have there because I will save your life. And that's what we need. That's what we're life savers. That's what we do. I don't want to be known as some crazy prepper because people view preppers as some alien, foreign, whatever. I haven't seen the new logo or the new website. I think, is there a Jason on the line? Something about a nurse picture or something?
Yeah.
You can use anything you want from me. I've got 1,000 of them, so I'm a photographer. So what do you want?
Marty,
I've got all kinds of stuff.
Yeah, Marty, if you could do me a big favor, if you could bring your camera on Sunday, because we would like to get some photographs to go on the website and to go on the new Ian Prep welcome member video. So if you could do that, that would be fantastic.
Sure.
And yeah, you're right. The drama's over. All the discourse and divisive talk and everything that's in the past. We're so far beyond that now. And a lot of people that don't get to see your leadership working on a daily basis, we are, trust me, we are busting our hump to move our organization forward and to accomplish our goals and to make you and your family safer. So yeah, so there's a lot that we're doing. So please hang in there. We're getting it together. But know this. I used to want to rush things and get things done and move at the speed of light. We're going to be taking a new, cautious approach. I don't want a million members in Ian. I want however many of the right people in Ian. I don't want a large organization. I want the right organization. I don't. We need to do things right, and so we're going to be moving with a little more caution, a little more skepticism, and we're going to try to do things right the first time. And so that's what.
And even if we don't get it right the first time, we recognize and we learn from those things that you know what. Every time we do something, it doesn't matter if it's good, bad, or indifferent. You can always learn from everything. So, hey, this worked really good. You know what? It could have. How can you improve upon anything? And I think that's the thing that, Will, I give you credit for, and the short time that I've known you, is you can sit back and reflect and you go, you know what? You're right. That wasn't. Let's look at it this way. Because for every one person you have, you're going to have an opinion as to the right way to do it. We just have to work together as a united front to say, how do we make it the best it can be? And if that means there's 10 of us and there's 10 of us who can do it, great. Then we'll be 10 really good, strong people. But I'd like it to be more than that because that's what the objective is. And for me personally, I am very excited about this. I already have a lot of resources together. I want to know what the members themselves want. And so that questionnaire that I'm going to be putting together that says, hey, who are you? What do you want? Why did you join in? Because they joined for a reason. And those reasons are going to be heard in senior administration. Myself, you, all the other people who are out there, are going to listen to it, and then we're going to live up to it.
Marty,
so that's what it means to me.
you hit the nail on the head. We, we in leadership, we have a tendency to think on a 10,000 foot level, but at the end of the day, why did the member join? Why are you here? What do you want from being in this relationship? Because it really is. It's a relationship between the member and Ian. It's a relationship between the members itself. It's a relationship between the members and the leadership. And the members and the different teams and departments within the organization. It's a lot of different relationships, and for a relationship to work properly, there has to be mutual respect and mutual benefit from that relationship. So if the people are here for the wrong reasons, then that relationship will fail. So Marty, you hit the nail on the head. And I encourage you to work with Michael Berger to reach out with to the members, find out what they need, what they want, why are they here, so we can better help them to get what they want out of the organization or the relationship.
That's what I said when you sent me the list of everybody who we have. I physically want to reach out, and Michael and I can work together, and anybody that's on the crisis management team, we need to work together very closely. So that we're not duplicating what we're all the objective, because that's silly, and then people are like, they're crazy, they're doing the same things. But I also want to make sure that we're getting the information that people want. We're also creating the core values of the company and Ian and what it represents, and then we're moving it forward to put it into fruition, because right now it's an envisionary process that needs to be moved to the next level of, we've talked about it, we've looked at it, we've researched it, we almost had it, and now we are changing it. Change is a good thing, because change means you recognize things that didn't work, and here's where we can improve upon it and establish that validity. If you can establish the validity and make the company real, we can be reckoned with. We will be a force to be reckoned with, and people will acknowledge us, because we're not going to go away. We're going to be there when we say we're going to be there. When something bad happens, you call me up. It might not be me personally, but I can get somebody to you, and I'm going to make it happen. And they see it work. Then guess who's going to be on our doorstep? People who need us.
Right.
So that's the goal, and I think every one of us have the same goal.
Okay.
So.
All right. Well, before we wrap this up, again, thank you, Marty. Congratulations, Michael. Congratulations, Marty, on your new position and role within the organization. Before we wrap this up, does anyone else have any questions or concerns about anything within Ian before we wrap this up? Because what I'm going to do is, after the meeting, I'm going to go ahead and it takes a little while, but I'm going to go ahead and this is all being recorded. I'm going to go ahead and finalize the recording, and then I'll upload it to the web, to our main page on Microsoft, so everyone else can kind of get kind of caught up with how this meeting went. So before we wrap it up, any other questions or concerns?
Yo, Will, this is Jim Wrestling.
Hi, Jim.
Yeah, one thing, and this kind of with Marty said you want to send out a questionnaire, we need to be careful about sending out questionnaires that we're not duplicating it from the different heads of the different departments.
Agreed.
You know, I've gotten 2 questionnaires that were almost identical. In fact, I just copied, cut and pasted the response back. But people are going to get tired of trying to answer the same things over and over again. So, that's a concern. Try to get together and either get one questionnaire or at least share the information around for those that need it, so that people aren't, they'll quit responding if you don't.
Gotcha.
Agreed.
Jim, I can address that specifically. Those 2 notices that went out, one was from our Region 5 and 8 director. She did not know that Monday morning I had just sent one out to everybody, and it was just a communication issue because her password got messed up and she couldn't get online until right then, and she immediately tried to jump into what I asked her to do. That will not be happening very often. We're creating a database that's for the upper leadership that has all the information on it that's on that list, and we'll gather up anything else we need so that it can be found just talking to one person or going to one location instead of having to ask it and ask it and ask it.
All that information is on the master membership list, and we promised the members when they joined that that would not be shared with anybody but the master state director, Will, and myself. So I would like to back up that promise. I have shared it with Mark at Will's direction, but unless Will changes that format, and if he does, I think the membership should be informed that it will only be shared with the master state director, Will, myself, and Mark.
Well, Katie's going to need a copy of that sent to her since she's taken over Master State Director.
Well, that's fine. And of course you, because now you're whatever you are.
Yeah.
What are you now?
Department Head for Crisis Management.
And Head for Crisis Management. Yeah. But I just wanted to make that clear that the membership was told that their addresses were private and would not be shared with everyone. So
yes.
I think we should stand by that.
So the information that, this is Marty, so the information that I'm referring to specifically, I don't care to know where people physically live or what they have as far as supplies. I think there needs to be a generalized questionnaire, and it may be something that already exists. So if it does, I apologize for being redundant or rhetorical. Something that, as a crisis management person, and I'll use it in terms that I'm familiar with. If I had 5 nurses and one of them works with cancer patients and one of them works in my ER and one of them's an ICU nurse and one of them works on med surg and one of them works, out with pediatric kids, I can't send the pediatric person to go take care of the cancer patients because she's not going to know what to do. So our members, we need to know their assets. I don't mean their physical, what they physically asset. Why did they join Ian? What do they want out of Ian? And some sort of questionnaire that says how do they want to be a part of Ian and what do they think Ian can do for them. So if that already exists, that's great. And I definitely don't think whoever mentioned saying that we shouldn't send out 50 of them, I agree, because I'm going to fill out one and you guys probably won't get more than one from even just me. But I think we need to compile, why did you join Ian? Not to be nosy, but we can't, if we don't know who our members really are and what they really want, what they thought they were going to get out of it, we certainly can't meet their needs. And we're trying to create an organization from a crisis management department, from a, if you want to learn CPR, here's how you go about it through the virtual academy, and or I will put on CPR classes. However we want to do stuff, we need to find out who our members are, what they want, their personal private protected information. It's kind of in my world that's called HIPAA. Everybody kind of knows the term HIPAA because you go to the doctor right now and you have to sign it 15 times before anybody will see or talk to you. But it's kind of the same thing. It's protected information. I'm not saying we give out protected information, but we do need a basis for who we have out there, what they need, and a general, maybe it's when they join or maybe it needs to be a part of how we can access information, but it's really going to be hard to create a crisis management team of people we don't know who we're protecting.
Right. Marty, what we'll do is moving forward, we'll still have our senior leadership meeting, same bat time, same bat station, and we'll record it. But, since we've made the migration over to Microsoft, we really, we've been kind of in flux. We've had, we've lost some members and we really are kind of getting reorganized. So we will be able to meet, every Wednesday night for our senior leadership meeting, and we'll be able to get organized and, those types of things will be addressed for sure.
But you understand what I'm saying. So it doesn't have to be a bazillion different questionnaires, but
right.
How do you meet the needs of people? You can't if you don't know what the needs are.
You're right.
So.
And something else that needs to be addressed, some of those needs we may not want to meet. Maybe this
exactly. It may be an unrealistic need.
Right. This may not be. We're not a militia. If you're looking to join a militia, there's some fantastic militias out there. Best of luck, but that's not who we are. That's not a need that we can meet. Our, security and emergency response teams, they're not a militia. They're there to provide emergency response service and physical security to, our facilities. That's what CERT does. So, we need to identify those needs and wants and make sure that we're a good fit, because if we are, then we need to be able to provide those services. If not, then we need to part ways because it's not a healthy relationship, and that's what we really need.
And I agree.
Do we have any members of CERT right now?
We do. In fact, I know Larry, who's also on Jeff's team, the National Communications team. I believe he has his general ham radio license, which is actually higher than mine. I just have a technician. But he's a CERT member, and I know there's some others, but I can't think of them off the top of my head. So yes, we do have CERT members. I don't know if we have any med team members left, those people that were, medical officers and alike. But I will leave that to Marty. She'll get all those folks rounded up and squared away.
Okay. I thought they all quit.
Oh no, man. Jim, did you have something to say?
No, I'm pretty well done.
Okay. All right. Well, folks, I'm going to go ahead and call it a night then. Also, the debate is on. I want to see if I can watch the rest of that. So, thank you, everybody that showed up. Thank you for your input. Thank you for listening. I'm going to go ahead and make this recording available on the main page. And again, if you want to take part in that crisis management team meeting this Sunday, 6 p.m. at the headquarters, please get with me and let me know, and I'll make sure that you know exactly where we're having it. Thanks so much, everybody, and have a great night.
Good night. Thank you.
Good night, everybody.
Good
Good night, all.
Night.